All right, everybody, this is Bedros Keuilian. I'd like to welcome you to the Trifecta Factor webinar. If you can hear me and see my screen, do me a favor and let me know in the question box. Just say yes. All right, let's do this, Richard. Awesome. Whoa, fantastic. There's everybody. All right, gang, we're gonna get started here. I'm just gonna stall for like another, I don't know, couple minutes just to because we still have people coming on board. We had several thousand people register for this. I think we only have room for 1,000. But anyway, we'll just stall just for another minute. So hang in there, and we will get going here in just a moment. Now, keep in mind, do me a favor, guys, do not ask any questions while I'm going through the webinar. In fact, what I'd like you to do is just save your questions till the end, simply because I may end up answering your questions, and there's no point in writing the question up there if I already answered it. So at the end, if we have time, which I'll make sure that we do have time, I will take some of your most pressing questions that have to do with your specific business, your marketing, your sales, your closing process, your systems, and we will knock it out, man. We will deliver the goods today. This is a no holds barred, no fluff, no hype, no BS webinar that I'm doing, simply because I want to thank you for being a subscriber and a client, and of course, because I love teaching the business of fitness. So, without any further ado, let us get started. So, this is the Trifecta Factor, and it's all about taking your fitness business to six figures and beyond. I, of course, am your host, Bedros Keuilian. Hello and welcome. So then, let's say that you want to make $250,000 in a year. And I just kind of threw that number out arbitrarily simply because when I started out as a trainer, I had two goals. Goal number one was to reach $100,000 in personal income. Goal number two was to reach $250,000 in gross revenue that my business would do. Because the way I did my math is if I can make $250,000 in gross revenue, that I might be able to take home $100,000 net profit for me, right? And so let's say that's what you want to do. Let's say that's your goal. And we're not going to talk about any of those clients of mine who have hit like 500,000, 700,000, the Samantha Taylors or Cable McElderleys or Dan Ritchie's who are doing $1 million plus. Let's just focus on $250,000 a year. What does that mean? Why don't we reverse engineer that number to see how we can get to $250,000 of gross revenue from your fitness business each year? Well, what that means is you've got to make $20,833.33 a month to hit that goal of $250,000 a year. That also means that you need to generate $4,960 a week, which also means that you've got to make $826.71 a day. Now that's if you're working 6 days a week. It would be just over $900 a day if you're going to go to a 5 day a week, right? Now the reason I write that is because that's how I started, and I hit those numbers within my second year. Um, what I didn't have is the advantage that you have today, which is someone teaching me the business of fitness. And so I was just kind of, reading marketing books and sales books and trying to apply to the fitness industry. And, most things didn't work and some things did. Today, and of course, at events like Fitness Business Summit, what I talk about and what I teach are things that are proven and in the trenches, working and not theories, right? And so you should be able to hit this in your first 12 months, starting immediately if you apply the stuff that we teach. Now, I like this process of taking that big giant, elephant of a goal of $250,000 and breaking it down over a 12-month period. I call it reducing it down to the ridiculous, right? Because when I think about making $250,000 a year, shit, that's pretty scary, right? That's a big number. Like, how many clients do I need? How much do I need to charge them for that? But when I break it down to a monthly amount, $20,800, all right, that's doable. And when I break it down to a weekly goal of $4,900, let's just round that up to $5,000 a week. All right, it's doable. And of course, when I break that down to the daily goal of $826 a day, Man, okay, that doesn't seem so scary, does it? Because really, when you think about it, I'll give you a great example. Just 2 days ago, 3 days ago on Tuesday, Josh Carter and I were hanging out, and we went out. We went out shooting guns, shotguns, rifles, handguns out here at an outdoor shooting range near my house, and then we went out for some food. And as we were eating, he said, "Hey, you won't believe this, but the other day somebody just walked in and paid me $800 a month for one-on-one personal training." And I set him up with one of my clients or one of my trainers, and this person's paying me $800 a month. Now, Josh runs group training, boot camp, and one-on-one from his facility. And when you think about it, just that one client who walked in off the street and obviously had seen his ads or is probably on his email list, but walked in and purchased 12 months of personal training on a one-on-one basis is paying $800. I think it's like $810 a month. So that one client fulfills his daily goal here, doesn't he? With getting to $250,000. So when you see how that would work, you might need one person to give you each day to give you $826 a month. So if you do that every day for whatever 24 days is what I broke it down to, you would literally get to your goal of $250,000. Now you're probably hard pressed to find one person each day for 24 days to give you $800 a month. But what if you have one person who does that, or what if you have maybe four people who give you $200 a day, right, for a month of personal training, or group training, or boot camp? And so you can see all the different ways you can slice and dice this. I mean, to get to this $826 a day, if you walk into 5 appointments, consultations, right? And you're probably wondering, damn, I would kill somebody for to walk into 5 consultations a day. Look, that should be standard practice, and those are the things that we teach in webinars like this, in coaching masterminds at Fitness Business Summit, and we actually give you the script and the process and the actual marketing pieces to put out there, right? Just like I'm going to go over today. And so it's important for you to realize that it is possible to walk into 5 or 6 appointments a day, because when you walk into 5 or 6 consultations a day, realistically, anywhere from 3 to 4 are going to actually come in. And of those 3 or 4, depending on your closing percentage, you might end up closing, 2 or 3 of them, right? And so if one person pays, let's say, gosh, I don't know, $400 a month for training, and the next person pays $200 for group training, and then the next person pays $200 for group training, well, you just satisfied your goal of $800. Or you might have a Josh Carter day and have somebody walk in and pay $810 for one-on-one training. You may have someone come in and say, yeah, I want your group training or boot camp program. And you give them the script that I would teach you, which is, oh, by the way, would you like to save 10% and get a bonus month? And of course, they're going to say yes, right? And when they say yes, you tell them, well, pay the program off in full, and you're going to save 10%. I'll take 10% off and give you a 13th month for free. And literally, you would get something like close to $2,000 if you do $200 a month for boot camp or group training, and you could, hit 2 days worth of goals with this. So I want you to kind of think out of the box and go, damn, there's a lot of ways to hit that goal of $826 a day. And ultimately, you want to hit that enough times where at the end of the year, you get to $250,000. So now that we've got that number, that pie in the sky number, it seems more realistic to you, and I hope it does. Let's move on, because you have to be willing to put in the hard work to get to the business that you want. And if you're not willing to put the hard work in to get to the business that you want, all I'm giving you here is merely information. And you're nothing more than an information gatherer. What we're looking for are action takers, people who would take this information and apply it to their fitness business so that they can get more clients, so that you can change more lives, you can enrich more lives, you can add value to your community, and oh, by the way, as a byproduct, create a lot of money for yourself so that you can have the lifestyle and the freedom that you want. But it does take a lot of hard work. It truly does. So if you're willing to put that work in, pay close attention. We're going to talk about the trifecta factor, because it is a three-pronged approach, which I'll get to in just a second. Now, the 3 key elements to this trifecta factor, to success, if you will, are this. You got to get your head and your mindset right, right? You've got to be in that place mentally that says, yes, I can get to $250,000 a year. Yes, I can get to $500,000 a year. And yes, over time I can break the seven-figure barrier, just like all these other people that I've heard about, right? There's nothing different about Mike Perella, Peter Osborne, Mark Costa, Samantha Taylor, Cable McElderly, Josh Carter, all these people who are making seven figures. And when you really think about it, and I've had the pleasure of working with them, none of them have done it within their first year. You know, Josh has been on board with me as a coaching client, and now he's a close friend for over a decade. Samantha's been on board for 5 years. Dan Ritchie and Cody Sipe in Indiana making over $1 million a year training the senior population. They've been on board for 3 years as a coaching client. So you have to be willing to put the work and to put the time in. It's no different than what you and I would tell our training clients, right? You're not going to build all this muscle tone and symmetry and drop all this fat, over a couple of months. It's going to have to be a couple of years of dedication under the weight and under the resistance and under that cardiovascular conditioning. That's just what has to happen. So your mindset has to get dialed in. Number two, you've got to dial in your profit boosters. Gone are the days of just selling training, right? Your clients are looking for more than just training. They want every possible thing that would get them faster, better, more permanent results. And it's up to you to sell those things. And those things are called profit boosters, which we'll talk about in a minute. And of course, component number three is you've got to create, if you don't have them already, or you've got to fix, if you have some of them, your income getting systems, which of all three things here, the number one thing I would put your focus and energy on is here, number one, right? Your head has to be right. Because if you, I'm going to be very blunt because I care deeply about every single one of my clients and subscribers and followers and fans, etc. But if your head's not right and you've got this mentality of failure is just you're destined for failure, or you've got this kind of loser type mentality where you're willing to easily accept losing, that's not going to work, man. You have to be a freaking winner. You have to have that mindset that if I fall down 10 times, I'm going to get up 11 times. And that's the difference between those who hit $250,000, $500,000, $1 million a year versus those who give up as soon as something fails. Because I promise you, a lot of stuff I'm going to teach you today and over the years are going to fail. They're not going to work for you. But a fair number of stuff that I'll teach you are going to work. And it doesn't take that many things to work for you to get to seven figures. It just takes you doing things over and over again until we find the right thing that works for you. So thing number one is obviously to get your head straight. The second most important thing I would say is to create your income getting systems, which we'll talk about. And then of course the third thing would be to dial in your profit boosters. Onward. Now, let's talk about controlling your headspace, your mindset, the thing that drives you, whether it's the conscious or the subconscious mind. First and foremost, I want you to just completely abandon your limiting beliefs. Your limiting beliefs about your business, money, right? For example, I grew up thinking that money was bad because we came from a foreign country, from a communist country. I was 6 years old when we came to the United States, and we were broke and we were poor. We came to the United States with under $200 and a family of five. We literally lived out of a one-bedroom shit shack and kept moving around a lot when we get evicted. My mom and dad never had any money when I was growing up. So you can imagine that money and abundance was not something that was easily gotten in our household. And you could imagine the lessons that I learned about money and how difficult money comes and how challenging it is to keep money when bills stack up and we never make enough money, right? So I had to break through all those limiting self-beliefs first, and it took a lot of self-education to do that, which is oftentimes why I recommend different books and resources to you, which is every time, whether you're at Fitness Business Summit or you're at any one of my masterminds or you buy any of my products, I always make sure that mindset stuff are a big component of it, because without that, you're not going to make it. And you also have to completely drop any disbelief you have about your business, that your business is different. The city you operate your business in is different. Your clients or your prospects are different. The economy where you are is different. Listen, it's not. I've got coaching clients from Dubai to Indiana to California to Pakistan to Mexico to Argentina, Las Vegas, where people would rather drink and get boozed up and gamble than spend money on their fitness levels. But it all works, right? It all works. We just have to find what works. So you can't think that there's a lack of opportunity available for you. The opportunity is there. You have to go out and grab it. And that's what I want to teach today, is that mindset right now. And so the other big component of controlling your mindset is the ability to crush doubt and negative self-talk, right? And think like a winner. I've been reading a lot about, if you've seen that book or the movie Lone Survivor that recently came out. I read the book, and one thing they talk about, Navy SEALs talk about in the book, is it pays to be a winner. They have two phrases that they say over and over again. One, it pays to be a winner. Now think about it. In war, in battle, when you're in an actual gunfight with people shooting bullets at you, right? And rocket propelled grenades, it pays to be on the winning side of that fight, doesn't it? Otherwise, you're pretty dead, right? Think about that. And the other saying the SEALs have, is that you're never out of the fight. And those two things apply here. So it pays to be competitive. It pays to be a winner when it comes to mindset, when it comes to your business, when it comes to being the best freaking trainer you can be. And you are never out of the fight. So you may fall, you may stumble, you may lose a lot of money on a particular campaign, you may make a bad decision on buying a set of whatever pieces of equipment that you buy for your facility, and it was like the worst pieces of equipment you could have bought, and it cost you $3,000, and you won't even get $100 for them. Who cares, right? You're never out of the fight. You have to get back up, and you have to make that money back somehow, and then you have to keep plowing ahead. So you have to be able to crush any kind of doubt that sneaks into your head and any kind of negative self-talk that starts up in your head. Again, it comes from a lot of self-training, and of course that'll happen over time. Now, if we had 6 hours in this webinar, I can teach you actual things to do to fix that. But we've got an hour and a half, and my goal is to get you this information within an hour or so that then we can take some questions. Third thing you've got to do to control that mindset is you've got to understand that the best things in life happen outside of your comfort zone. That's just the case, man or woman. Simply because homeostasis forces us, this need for survival forces us to stay in the box, right? To stay in our comfort zone, to be safe. Sadly, nothing exciting happens when we're in the box, when we're in the comfort zone, because it's comfortable. It's the thing you know, right? No matter how shitty your life is, it's comfortable and you're okay with it. But when you push outside of that comfort zone, when you step out of that box, when I had the opportunities to do that in life, whether it was opening up my first location or when my client, Jim Franco, who was my first mentor, actually had enough faith in me. He had more faith in me than I had in myself when he offered to let me borrow money to open up my first facility, and that he suggested that I would have to pay him back at the end of a year. And he said, I know and I have faith in you that you can pay me that money back. And I was like, holy shit, this guy believes in me more than I do, right? But he forced me to get out of my comfort zone, because that's where the exciting things happen in life. That's where the good happens. And so you got to stay on the edge of your comfort zone and sometimes be willing to jump off that cliff, right? It's an exciting thing. And most of all, anytime you're out of your comfort zone and anytime you're getting information like this that's destined to change your life, listen, it's going to create some anxiety. It's going to create some, a little stress, right? A little bit, oh my gosh, what if things go wrong? The best way to deal with anxiety is to take action. And there's a saying that I've heard before, and it says, action alleviates anxiety. Let me tell you, on a daily basis, I tell myself that, because on a daily basis, I try and keep myself out of my comfort zone. Whether it's taking guitar lessons, which I just did, or 2 years ago where I trained for a marathon for 6 weeks and ran it and was in excruciating pain for literally months afterwards, I was way out of my comfort zone. I'm designed to lift and not run, but I wanted to do something that I'm not made to do. And so while it was an anxiety-provoking thing, holy shit, it feels so good to be part of that less than 1% of society who have run a full-blown marathon, 26.2 miles. And it's that taking action every day for those 6 weeks while I was training for this damn thing, and then finally running it, that alleviated my anxiety. And so the same will apply for you here. And of course, success is attracted to speed. Speed of implementation. In other words, how fast you take the information that you're taught here and at events like Fitness Business Summit and through information products and coaching seminars and masterminds, etc. Speed of implementation, how quickly you apply the information to your business, will dictate how big and how quick success comes to you, right? So understand that. That's a really big thing. All right. So then, great, we got our mindset straight, but should we figure out one more thing? Failure? Where does failure come from? What is failure? Think about it. What is failure? In marketing and direct response and what we do to grow our business, failure is just nothing more than a test that didn't work out the way we wanted it to. I embrace failures because that tells me that the offer I just made on that particular Facebook ad didn't work. I failed at it. That's okay. That's one type of failure. The other type of failure is like personal failure, like when you feel like you have just lost, you're defeated, you're beat up, and you're destined to never succeed. That type of failure only comes from two places, and I want to tell you what those two places are so that you can control those because you have direct control over them. So the only two places failure come from are the thoughts that occupy your mind, right? Think about that. The actual thoughts that occupy your mind, the things that loop in your head, the voices in your head, the self-talk that you have. That's one place where failure comes from. If it's positive self-talk, if it's I'm a winner, I'm a champion, I can do anything I effing put my mind to, wow, that's not going to invite failure. But if it's doubt, if it's I don't know, what ifs, right, can't, then those thoughts ultimately do lead to failure. And this is scientifically proven, by the way. This isn't just my theory. Failure also, sadly, comes from the people that you surround yourself with. And I can tell you that firsthand because there was a time that I surrounded myself with losers. Sadly, some of these losers were people who I went to school with, and because they were high school friends, I decided to stay in contact with them. But every time we were together, all they ever did was bitch about the economy, about the lack of money, about how things never worked out their way. They never took responsibility for themselves. They always blamed the circumstances around them. And I realized that these people influenced my mindset. Ironically, when I started to hang out with Jim Franco, my first mentor, and the guy that loaned me that money to start up my first training facility in San Diego, well, guess what? All of a sudden, Jim Franco, who's always talking about more ways to help people, how to make more money, awesome vacations to take, the lifestyle that he leads, he exposed me to more of his friends who are success driven, who are abundant minded, who are not afraid to talk about money because they realize money is only a vehicle to freedom. And the only way you make money is through helping people. And so the amount of money and wealth that you have is in direct relation to the amount of people that you've helped and added value to. That's all. And so all of a sudden I'm like, holy crap, the people that I'm hanging out with these days, that all we do is talk about helping others and making money, and that's okay, right? And so the people you surround yourself with are very, very important to do. Now, let's talk about profit boosters, but I'm going to take a drink of water first. So, of the trifecta, thing number 2 are your profit boosters. Now, you'll be happy to know that there are only 3 ways to make more money. 3 ways, and only 3 ways. There was a time that I would do seminars when I would go speak at other people's events, and I would say, hey, how many ways are there to make money? And people would just throw out 20, 30, 40 different ways, this and that and the other. Fact is, there's only 3 ways to make money. Way number 1, get more clients. Way number 2, increase your rates or your fees. And way number 3, increase the number of transactions that you have with the customer or client, right? Increase the transaction frequency. And we're going to talk about that in a second. So let's talk about thing number 1 first, right? Because what I want to talk to you here about is how you can give yourself a 30% income boost in the next 30 to 60 days. Guys, this is not bullshit. This is like truth. Now, I would be lying to you if I said you can get 30% more clients. You're not going to do that in the next 30 or 60 days, right? You're just not. And I'd be lying to you if I said you can give yourself a 30% income boost. It's not going to happen right away. For some of you, it might, but not for all of you. But what you can do is you can do a 10% boost in those 3 categories that we just talked about. So let's talk about the first category, which is to increase the number of clients you get, right? So you increase your marketing results or you increase your closing percentage by 10% only, and that's going to impact your total goal, your income, by 30%. So if you're getting 10 new leads for every $20 that you spend buying, let's say, Facebook ads, right? then all you got to do is really improve your ad or your offer or the market that you're targeting to, so that you're getting 11 new leads for the $20, right? Just a 10% bump. Instead of 10 leads for $20, if you can just get 11 leads for $20, then you will have more people into the top of your funnel, which means you'll end up closing more people at the bottom of your funnel. The other way to go about it is, if you're already closing 6 out of 10 people, then improve your sales system and process, the script that you use, so that you close 7 out of 10 people, right? Think how easy that is. So without increasing your marketing, you can just increase, kind of boost the percentage of people that you're converting into client just by 10%, right? Prospects into clients by 10%, and all of a sudden you're making more money, right? So it's not always, hey, Bedros, show me how to get more leads. Oftentimes I'll go right to you and I'll say, wait, let's look at your closing percentage. You're closing 6 out of 10 people. You're letting 4 people walk. Let's just see if we can close 7 out of 10 people, 8 out of 10 people, right? That makes all the difference in the world. Now, profit booster number 2 is to increase your fees or your rates by 10%. So if you're charging, whatever, $200 a month for group training or boot camp, raise your rates for new clients only by 10%. So go from $200 a month to $220, right? Easy enough to do. What's another $20? But you multiply that by 100 new clients that you're going to get over the next, let's say, 12 months. Well, holy crap. That's a big difference, right? That's a 10% boost in your income. And that 10% goes towards the 30% because there's 3 categories that we're talking about. So you can do this by, you can raise your rates by knowing without a shadow of a doubt that you're the training, like you're the best training program in town, right? That you are the best at what you do, you deliver amazing results, and then you need to prove it with the results that you deliver, before and after pictures, not just one, but huge transformational pictures of many people that you've helped change in the community. One person to look at who does that really well is one of my coaching clients, Nathaniel Dilworth. You can find him on Facebook. Nathaniel Dilworth is his name. He's not only a coaching client, he's also a Fit Body Bootcamp owner. He's in San Antonio, Texas. The guy, like, people drop 40 to 100 pounds with him, right? And he doesn't just have 5 or 10 before and after pictures. He's got like 50, 60, nearing 100 already, right? So let me tell you, San Antonio, Texas is not the wealth capital of the world, yet people flock to him left and right. He gives away a car once a year now to his client who sees the biggest transformation, because he's making really good money in a town that's not known to have a lot of money, because he's proved without a shadow of a doubt that he is the most amazing, most awesome, most committed, most dedicated, most results-driven trainer in town, and then he proves it with the before and after pictures. So why can't he charge 20, 30, 40, 50% more than every other trainer in town? Because he's known as the guy who delivers results, right? Which goes to point number 2 here, which is be that person that adds additional value and services to your program. Be known as the cleanest gym in town. Also be known as the friendliest facility in town. Also be known as the trainer who delivers results like nobody else and backs it up with a money-back guarantee. Also be known as that fitness expert who offers bi-monthly nutritional seminars and grocery store tours. Be known for that person who's the value adder in your community. And people will gladly pay 10 or 20% more per month to work with you than your competitor. I know my clients certainly do. I charge an arm and a leg to work with me, but I guarantee that you'll get results if you do what I'm telling you to and apply the systems that I give you. Otherwise, we'll just part ways, and I'd rather give you your money back, right? And just find another coaching client who's willing to take action. So, thing number 3 is increase the transaction frequency by 10%, right? So, if the average client stays with you for, let's say, 10 months, what if you increased your retention rate to 11 months? Again, just a 10% bump, right? That gives you another 10% increase in revenue from that one particular client, and that 10% applies towards your 30% income boost that we talked about. Now, how do you do this? Well, deliver quantifiable results, like actually give people the results they're after. Don't just do it where they weigh the same and look the same, but they feel good and have more energy. Listen, that's bullshit. Everybody wants to lose inches and pounds, and then the secondary stuff like feel better, have more energy, and they're stronger. Everybody wants to lose inches and pounds, right? Those are the quantifiable, measurable results. And then things like more energy and sleeping better and more confidence. That's just how it is, right? Trust me, I've had thousands of clients throughout the 5 facilities that I've owned, and everybody wants transformational, quantifiable results. Number two, make your facility their second home. It shouldn't be a boring place where they dread coming to because they get hurt and sore and abused, right? This should be like Cheers. This should be a place where they come in to see their friends and have an awesome workout experience, and they have a great time while they're getting their workouts on. And of course, you got to keep those workouts fun and entertaining so that they'll keep coming back and so that they'll tell others about you. So it's just as much as about entertainment and making it their second home, the place they want to be when they're not at work or at home, as much as it is about the results that you deliver, right? And that will increase client retention. So let's talk about thing number 3, right? Which is fixing your income boosting systems. Now, I like this stuff because these are the things that you can dial in once, and now you have systems that you can replicate and duplicate over and over again across many facilities, right? So if you want to open, like I did, multiple facilities, you can. Or if you want to create the systems once, document it so that others in your facility, like a manager, an assistant, your trainers, can replicate and duplicate those systems. Now you'll have some time to get away and actually be that person who's not only making $250,000 or $500,000 a year, but is actually able to have some time to enjoy it, right? That's a big thing. So, system number 1 is your lead getting system, right? So these are the systems that you want to create and dial in so that your business consistently makes tons of money. And remember, tons of money equals lots of clients, and when you have lots of clients, I'm assuming you're an awesome trainer and that you're going to deliver the most killer transformational results possible, right? So lead getting system is number 1. A closing client conversion system is number 2. Got to convert those leads into paying clients, right? Referral generation system is number 3. Now, once we have that person as a client, your job is to make them and get them to want to send their friends, family, and coworkers to you. Thing number 4 is the upsell and cross-sell systems, right? These are the profit boosters that we talked about. There are other things and processes and systems and services and programs you can sell them for additional revenue that will give them faster, better, more permanent results. Thing number 5, you've got these clients. What do we do to retain them longer? Take the 7-month retention rate and bump it up to 10. Take your 10-month retention rate and bump it up to 18 months. We have some Fit Body Bootcamp owners. One of them that comes to mind is Kathy and Ahmed Tafti in Long Island, New York. They do something really cool. I was on a coaching call with them, and I said, hey guys, why don't you guys consider selling 24-month programs? You guys are so awesome anyway. People stay with you for 12 months. We know that. Let's just start offering 24-month programs. Guess what? They're now selling 24-month programs. And the first time they sold their first one, they sent me a text message all pumped up. So they literally doubled their client retention by just offering something amazing, like a 24-month program at a fair price, at a good price. That's their best deal that you can get as far as the per monthly rate goes. But because they're known as the place to deliver amazing results in Huntington, New York, like nobody else wants to go anywhere else but their Fit Body Bootcamp location. And so people trust them with 24 months of training, right? And so let's talk about your lead getting system then, right? Because there's those 5 things. Number 1, each and every month, you've got to run 3 different promotions. An online promotion, an offline promotion, and internal promotion. An online promotion could be an email broadcast to clients with one of those, like the 14-day fat furnace promo or the 21-day rapid fat loss promo that I've written for you guys. That's an online promotion. You can run Facebook campaign, right, to a squeeze page this month. And of course, build your email list. An offline promotion could be lunch and learns. It could be going to local businesses and putting lead boxes out there. That's a great offline promotion, right? It could be going to a local hospital and offering their entire staff 20% off if they come in and say they work at that hospital to train. But first, give them a week or 2 for free so they can actually experience it. And of course, you're going to have an internal promotion each month. An internal promotion is things that you're going to do to try and get referrals from your existing clients, right? It could be a handwritten postcard. It could be a gift card sent in the mail. It could be a referral generation contest, right? There's so many things you can do, but each and every month you've got to run 3 promos: an online, an offline, and internal marketing promo. Number 2, you've got to track and measure, right? So when you create your marketing systems, you've got to create a way of tracking and measuring your marketing results on a spreadsheet, on an Excel sheet. And your goal is to always try and improve them. I mean, at the end of the day, marketing is really alchemy. It's science. It's, if I have offer A that says get 21 days of fitness boot camp for $97, and I've got a male before and after picture on there, I might send out another offer that has the same exact thing, 21 days for $97, but have a female before and after picture, and see if that one thing that I changed and tweaked, the male to female testimonial before and after picture, made a difference in my response. If it did, that becomes a new control. Then I might change the price point. If I increase the price point, do I get a better level of clientele? If I lower the price point, do I get more people in, which means I get to increase my closing percentage, right? If I change my headline, do I get a better or worse end result out of my marketing campaign? And at the end of the day, you're going to keep tracking this stuff until you find the ideal control with the best headline, best offer, best price point, best testimonial, best urgency factor, or time sensitivity factor, right? Because people need to respond to something in a time sensitive manner, right? All of this, guys, is called direct response marketing. And when you dial in your direct response marketing, right, you can now track and measure your results and always improve them. And the big thing I would tell you right off the bat, I don't care if you hear people say, hey, I got 50 clients from postcards or 60 clients from Facebook campaigns. If you are not designed like Josh Carter to run Facebook campaigns all day long like he is, because he's just good at that kind of techie, geeky stuff, listen, do what's factory installed for you. Maybe what's factory installed for you is to go and talk to a whole bunch of local businesses and get clients that way, right? What's factory installed for Josh Carter is to go on Facebook, right? What's factory installed for somebody else might be to do direct mail, right? So do the things that come easiest for you first. Do what's factory installed, right? That's like the low-hanging fruit, and then expand out of your marketing comfort zone, if you will, into other stuff. Let's talk about your closing systems. Your closing systems here are to create a process that works, a consistent process that works, that that I'm closing at least 7 or 8 people out of 10 people who sit in front of me, right? And you have to get really good at that closing process. And the process has to build a rapport. It has to identify the benefits of your program. It has to get the person to want your program. It has to overcome any issues with money and time and their spouse, right? Those are the 3 big objections, right? You have to address the time, money, and spouse objections in your selling process so that you don't have to deal with it later when someone gives you that objection when you're trying to make the sale. Because that's the worst time to deal with an objection, is when you're trying to make the sale. I'd rather overcome the objection by creating a sales process like closed clients, right, which you can get, and I'm sure many of you on this webinar already have closed clients from me. It overcomes the 3 big objections, right? And so, of course, you're going to overcome those and get to the part where you actually make money, which is you have to get comfortable with asking for the sale. We don't just imply for the sale. Say, so, Mrs. Jones, based on everything we talked about today, and based on your needs and wants and the amount of time that you say you can commit, I think option 2 or 3 here are going to work best for you. Which of these 2 options can we get you started on today? Now that is asking for the sale. An implied offer might be, so Mrs. Jones, what do you think? Do you want to start? Right? That's kind of weak. That puts you in a position of getting a yes or a no. Do you want to start? They're either going to say yes or no. But if you say, do you want option A or B, whichever option they choose, they get results, you make money. Now let's talk about referral gen systems. Referral generations are important because if you run your business right, after about a year or so, in fact, you can actually tell if your business is running right or not if after about a year or so, if referral generation is like 80%, if 80% of your clients come from referrals, right? So number 1, when you get a new client on board, very first thing you have to do is make it a condition of doing business with you, right? Like referrals have to be a condition of doing business. So if your name is Bob and you just got on board with me, I would say, hey, Bob, welcome aboard to Premier Results. I really appreciate you as a client. Listen, as I help you get amazing results over the next several months and help you burn fat and build muscle tone, can I count on you to help me get what I want, which is to tell your friends, family, and coworkers about me so I can help grow my business? Of course, you're going to shake hands. They're going to say yes. As you help me, I'll help you. Now you've made it a condition of doing business with you, right? Then you're going to use you're going to put Bob's email address in some kind of an autoresponder sequence that you should have. Now, if you have FitPro newsletter already, where I've already written out a 28-day referral generation autoresponder sequence, you just drop Bob's email address in that autoresponder sequence, and for the next 28 days, it sends them awesome content-rich information about fitness and working out while offering or soliciting referrals from them, right? So now you're automating your referral generation via email as well, right? These are all force multipliers. Then the third thing you might do is you might send out on like day 21, a postcard, just a thank you, a handwritten postcard that says, hey, thank you for being an awesome client. I really appreciate how hard you work out here. By the way, here are 3 gift cards, plastic gift cards that I've loaded up with $100. And guys, you can buy these plastic gift cards like online anywhere. Just search them out online, plastic gift cards, Google it, and the first 2 or 3 links will get you them, right? And what's really awesome is these are like essentially fake gift cards. You don't have to really take money from a client or take money out of your bank account and put money on these cards. They just have that fake magnetic strip on there. You give it to your clients with the thank you card, and you say, hey, give these $300 gift cards out to your friends, family, coworkers. When they come in and use them, they're going to get $100 off their first month if they decide to sign up on a program, right? And then, of course, you're also going to run contests. You're going to run referral generation contests every 8 weeks, at least every 8 weeks. It could be as simple as, hey, for this week only, I'm going to give away a iPad Mini. Actually, seems to be working better than the regular iPads right now. You're going to give away an iPad Mini. You're going to put all your clients' names on the left side of a marker board, and then you're going to put 7 days across the top because it's a 1-week contest. And you're going to say, hey guys, whoever sends me the most referrals who end up converting into clients, I'm going to give that person this iPad, right, for the next week. And then you ask your clients, look, tell your friends about me, tell your coworkers about me, tell your family about me. But there's so many awesome contests that you could run this way. And, like my Fitness Ambassador contest. If you have FitPro newsletter, you can run the Fitness Ambassador contest because the whole contest is in there along with the emails that you would send out because I've written them for you. And you could get clients referring you their friends, family, coworkers, like literally overnight and get a whole bunch of new business, right? So referral generation systems are important to build and to deploy on a consistent basis. Upsells and cross sells, right? Your clients want results. They want results. So what else can you sell them or refer them to that will give them better, faster, more permanent results? And of course, give you more money in that process, right? Can you send them to a nutritionist or a registered dietitian so that they can get awesome meal plans? And those meal plans that the registered dietitian or nutritionist makes, of course, are going to be real specific to the client's needs and wants and goals. But that RD or nutritionist is going to give you anywhere from 20 to 35% of the fee as a referral commission to you, right? Or you might want to sell supplements. Supplements that I suggest are usually going to be high quality supplements that you believe in, number one. Number two, that are drop shipped automatically to your client's house, and so you don't have to store them and buy them. And you don't want to be in the supplement business. You just want to refer them to supplements that you get a commission from, and that you get at least 20% commission from on a lifetime basis. One brand that I recommend is Joel Marion's brand, which is BioTrust, and you can go to trybiotrust.com and become a reseller of BioTrust supplements. They're awesome supplements. They get drop shipped to your client's house once your client buys them each and every month. And what's great is each month you get 30% commission checks from BioTrust, right? How cool is that? Or you can sell your clients internal programs, such as what Jeff Sherman does. Jeff Sherman, again, a Fit Body Bootcamp owner, coaching client of mine. You guys all probably know of him. He has the Game Changer program. So he takes his existing clients and offers them a 12-week higher level of training where he holds them accountable more through a Facebook private group, gives them specialized meal plans, They have to do before and after pictures like every other week. He calls it the game changer. And basically, he gives them workouts to do in addition to the workouts they do at his facility. So they get faster, better results in those 12 weeks. And he charges them $177 more. Just so you know, in 2013, Jeff Sherman made $46,000 more just by doing the Game Changer, just from the Game Changer promo, by selling something existing to his current clients, right? Amazing. You can actually Google Fitness Game Changer and get that promo email campaign from him and mail it out to your clients and do it with them. It's a total done for you system that he created. Onward, retention systems. This is important, right? You want to retain your clients for the long haul, right? So your business will grow exponentially. Just remember this saying: your business will grow exponentially when you can master getting people to pay, stay, and refer, right? That's what you want. You want people, so you want to convert them, you want to get them to stay, and you want them to refer their clients or their friends, family, coworkers to you. So how do you get people to stay longer? Well, you have to set goals and milestones, right? Not just hey, our 12-month goal is this, but you have to set goals that have to do with, let's say, in the first 3 weeks, we're going to do X. By week number 9, we're going to have achieved X. By month number 5, we're going to have done X, right? This way, there's milestones. And you're going to track results and, of course, reset their goals. If they're getting faster results, great. That person is motivated and ambitious. Reset their goals, man. And if they're not getting the results, your fitness evals that you do will prove that these people maybe are not the hardest working people on the planet. So you have to reset the expectations. Otherwise, if they constantly feel like they're failing, they're not going to want to stick around, right? And of course, you want to educate them and inform them through like a email newsletter, like FitPro newsletter, or if you want to write your own and you don't want anything automated, use constant contact, eye contact, AWeber, right? But for crying out loud, you've got to educate and inform your clients that long term, slow and steady wins the race, and that this is a long term thing. It has to be a lifestyle, and they can't just expect to get results in 2 or 3 months. Those are all components that affect retention, right? So let's review the 3 key elements of success here for you, right? Thing number 1, you want to get your head straight. You want to be, as the Navy SEALs call it, you're never out of the fight, right? And it pays to be a winner. And so you're going to surround yourself with people who are already where you want to be and with people who have exceeded the goals and the thresholds that you want to be. So number 1, if you guys aren't registered for Fitness Business Summit that's coming up in March, I would highly recommend you register for Fitness Business Summit. In fact, the price doubles tomorrow at midnight, so you ought to register for Fitness Business Summit and get around people who are already where you want to be and past that, and they become your network, and you can reach out to them and connect with them on Facebook and through emails and texts, and as you make friends with them, right? So you got to get that mindset right. And of course, the thoughts that occupy your mind. So in addition to being around awesome, successful people, you've got to also control the thoughts that occupy your mind. And I'm a big fan of reading at least one self-help book a month. Now, that's me. I travel a lot. I'm on planes a lot, so I like to read a lot. But gosh, I challenge you to listen to audio programs, once a month. I challenge you to read 4 books a year on self-help, like Psycho-Cybernetics or The Big Leap, right? Just those 2 alone have changed my life. And I know Psycho-Cybernetics or The Big Leap will change your life as well. You've got to dial in your profit boosters, right? You've got hidden money sitting in your business with your clients. They want faster results. They want to give you more money for faster, better, more permanent results. And it's your job to turn on those profit boosters and find that hidden revenue. And of course, you've got to create systems, because if you look at the word system, right? System, it's really an acronym. Save yourself time, effort, and money. System, save yourself time, effort, and money. And so when you create a system, it's something that you can replicate and duplicate in multiple locations. And it's also something that you can outsource to staff, like a manager, an assistant, trainer, so that you have repeatable, consistent process in marketing and sales and retention and referral generation, all that stuff, right? So it's really important to kind of make a 3-ring binder of your top 5 systems that we talked about here, and then make sure that binder is always being updated. That's what we do, even here at our headquarters in at our Fit Body Bootcamp headquarters. All right, guys, so that is going to wrap up our Trifecta Factor webinar here. And I'm super thrilled to have you guys on board with this webinar. Thank you so much for attending. And I really do hope that I see you guys here at Fitness Business Summit. It's going to be an awesome event in March. And remember, the price goes up tomorrow at midnight for Fitness Business Summit. So you can right now register at a very deep discount and bring a guest for half off. So I recommend you guys take advantage of that. And of course, I will see you guys at Fitness Business Summit or on the awesome Facebook. Take care, guys. Have a great one. God bless.